Got a little bit of a rundown of where we're at with construction projects so far this summer.
Cool. Okay.
So we'll start with Mountain View Road Safety Improvement Project. That was roughly $2.2 million. This is part of the ITD STIP funds for this project. This one, as a reminder, was replacing the 24-inch wide roadway out there that had gravel shoulders with more of a multi-mode type roadway where we got 36 wide with bike lanes, sidewalks, and the other amenities that typically go with the extension of what rest of Mountain View north of 6th Street looks like. We're also installing a rectangular rapid flash beacon at 7th Street for the crossing into the ball fields there.
Nice.
And then we're also making modifications down at Joseph Street to have left turn lanes coming and going out of there. And then the installation of a roundabout at 6th Street and Mountain View. So as of right now, all the underground utilities have been installed, all the franchise utilities have been moved, they've got all the curbing and the traffic islands and everything done, and as of today, they should be pretty close to finishing paving. So the next thing over the next couple weeks is they're gonna go out there, they're gonna finish the pavement markings, the signs, all the other regulatory type stuff that needs to go down, get the RFB installed, and get things cleaned up and hopefully get it opened up here pretty
That's
soon.
great. Can I ask a question? Can you talk about the turn lanes at the intersection of Joseph Street? The reason I asked that question is I thought we removed the turn lanes down next to the middle school because people couldn't quite figure out how to make turn lanes work.
Yeah, the turn lanes up at the middle school is more in relation to the crossing distance for the large amount of pedestrians that have at those high volume areas, whereas the ones down at the ball fields, which again, this was designed many years ago now, but that is also to assist with the coming and going of the high peak hours for the vehicles coming and going from the ball fields through there and providing crosswalks for the occasional pedestrians. Whereas a large volume of the pedestrians do cross more up there at 7th where we're providing the flashing lights.
Well, and the other distinction is D and Mountain View is a four-way stop controlled, so those turn lanes don't necessarily give as much benefit.
Right.
To keep traffic flowing on Mountain View, we'll now have, and this will just have center left turn lanes?
They have center left turn lanes on Mountain View and a center left turn lane leaving Joseph
Nice.
on the east side of Joseph.
So this
but not on
allows
the west
people
side.
that are waiting to turn to get out of the flow of traffic and allow traffic to flow on Mountain View because it's only two-way stop controlled here compared to the four-way stop control at D.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and a large backup on Joseph Street happens during the leaving of the events
Yeah.
of everybody trying to take a left or a right.
Okay.
But what the existing out there look like, whereas what is new, unfortunately, they don't have any of the pavement markings or all the other fun amenities out there just yet. But kind of a view of the roundabout as they were installing the curbing out there and what the product is looking like. What they'll be working on too in the next coming weeks as well is vegetation inside the center here. And then kind of a look down at Joseph Street of the widening through there. Next up is the 3rd Street and 6th Street pedestrian improvement projects as part of our LSIP program that we have through ITD. This is the Local Highway Safety Improvement Program that we work with LTAC on. The project budget was roughly $1.5 million. The project summary is it had the frontage improvements along 3rd Street and Jackson from Jackson to Llewellyn. This was adding all the additional width of sidewalk, the adjusting for the curb height out there, installation of the decorative historical style lighting. The lighting through the whole corridor wasn't always the best, and now we're going to definitely have a lot more sufficient lighting through here. Project status is largely complete with a few outstanding items. Anticipating final substantial completion here pretty soon.
I want to say that I thought the addition on the 3rd Street was really very attractive. So
Yeah.
nice job.
A lot nicer corridor for moving through the area. Here's some pictures of where they're running the conduit for the luminaires for the new lighting throughout the corridor. And then kind of a look of the finished product where you actually have more of the decorative brick, the wider sidewalks moving through the area. You can see the historical style lighting. That's going to light up the corridor a lot better throughout.
And the one thing we are waiting is for the overhead utility companies to wreck out the old overhead work. So we did make an investment as part of the project to provide underground conduits for them to pull their utilities underground. So In that left photo, you can kind of see them near the decorative light fixtures. That'll be coming out here shortly.
And no tree replacement on this part, is that right?
Correct.
Hurts my soul a little, but it's so good.
There just wasn't much
know.
room in
I
that
know.
area. Between driveways and
Yeah.
light fixtures, and it just was so tight.
Yep.
Next one is the South US 95 Sewer Water Extension Project. This is running the additional utilities. The southern portion of the city down there, in anticipation ITD's Thorn Creek project coming through and running the utilities for future expansion down there and tying into SEL area as well. So the project budget was roughly 1.2 million. It was the construction of about 1,000 lineal feet of new water main running south and about 2,000 lineal feet of new sanitary sewer main. And this is, like I say, an extension of the sewer lines down there in anticipation of the new highway project coming through and getting underneath everything and tied into the area so we can continue to be able to serve the area to the south. The project status is the sewer and the water mains are complete. They're just working on the service lines leading to and from, and then the surface restoration in the area. And this one was pretty deep out there. So this is the sanitary sewer, which I think was roughly, what, Bob, about 20 feet deep?
Yeah, we averaged about 20 feet.
Yeah, so very deep and very difficult soils to work through. It was a pretty slow-paced project to move through.
Bet.
And kind of some pictures of the water main, which is a larger water main running out in that area. Next one up is the well house number 6 building replacement project, and well house number 6 is the well out at the city shop. This project's budget was around $830,000. The project summary is to demolish the existing building and reconstruct with a split-face concrete block wall and metal roof. The existing one right now is a stick-framed, wood-framed building that's held together with hopes and dreams.
Push snow into that building too many years, the
Yep.
walls are swinging.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, we're upgrading the disinfection system to the on-site chlorination generating system and installing backup power generation, what it doesn't currently have, which is also going to help assist with some of the functions at the city shop in case of power loss. So the project status is they've demolished the entire building. They just blew on it too hard and it fell over.
Before the snow came and got it.
Yeah, before the snow came. And then working on the underground conduits and the foundation prep. So that was the existing facility, which it looked even worse on the inside.
That looks good. That's a good picture.
Yeah,
That looks better.
that's with it gone now and then working on the foundation. And then to get a rough idea, it's not gonna look as pretty, but this is a picture of the Taylor booster station, similar type construction with the split face block framing and then the metal roof. And then same thing, it's gonna have a little backup generator on one side of it too, so. Which leading from that picture, the next project was the Taylor booster station loop and supply line upgrade, which was to put in a larger supply line leading to the booster station to assist with the pumping requirements that were needed from that booster station. So that project was roughly, wish I had my glasses on,
316?
$316,000 to install roughly 850 linear feet of water main, which then increases the amount of water that can be fed into the booster station. And that project is complete. It was a pretty simple project out there. So that's just a picture of them running the water main along there. And then some of the asphalt surface restoration. Next one, the North Jackson Street parking lot reconstruction. This is for the parking lot north of 3rd Street, east of Jackson, and it's just one of the bays. So the project budget is $100,000, $103,000. This one is removing and reconstructing the asphalt pavement on the south bay of the 2 bays that are there that are the city's responsibility. And then removing and replacing some broken sidewalk and updating ADA compliance in the area. So the work hasn't started yet. We're in discussions with Motley on when they've got time to start this one up. But it's going to be a quick project when it does happen. And it's anticipated to be completed by the end of October. So that's a picture of what's existing out there. That's the south of the two bays there. The north bay, we had done a grind and inlay and then slurry sealed on the top, and it actually looks pretty good. But we'll be focusing on this bay down here, whereas this one, the one to the north, has been updated since. And then the sidewalk that we'll be replacing in the area while we're there too.
Great.
Milton Arthur Park, project budget of roughly $195,000. That is for replacement of the playground equipment and safety tiles, which is under a separate, well, that was the material procurement by the Parks Department. And then this project was under two different contracts for pouring the concrete pad and the pathway, while the other one was actually preparing everything in the excavation for it. So this was constructing a 3,200 square foot concrete pad for the playground equipment and roughly a 10-foot wide shared use path going down to the project. Everything has been pretty much completed on this project, and it's ready for the equipment to go down from the Parks Department. They're just waiting on some of the materials still. But you can see the excavator out there in the park, and then removing everything, and getting everything prepared. And then kind of what it looks like as a finished product. What they'll do is they'll come back, and the playground will be down in this area. Well, they'll put down the safety tiles and then the playground equipment in that area.
Cool.
Paradise Path Lighting Project. This one had a budget of $225,000, and it's in a couple different phases. So this one is installing LED bollards and overhead lighting along Paradise Path from the Steiner White area to the underpass at Highway 95. Phase 1 is installing the conduit and the vaults, whereas phase 2 will be coming in back and actually installing the lights and the bollards. So phase 1 is complete. They got all the conduit and the junction boxes in, and everything's ready to start pulling stuff through. Phase 2 is expected to begin this fall with the installation of the bases, but like everything else, material's hard to get right now, so we'll get all the poles and lighting, everything in over the winter and get those installed in the spring. But here's kind of a look of what they're going through to get all the conduit and everything in the ground. And then kind of more of what kind of finish looks like once they got all the ground restored and everything. And then we'll start getting bases set and everything this fall with getting a lot better lighting through the whole thing by next spring.
It's amazing.
6th Street crossing over Paradise Creek. This project budget is roughly $2 million. This is part of the EDA grant that we have for this project. This one is the demolition and removal of the existing narrow 3-culvert crossing that was damaged during the 2019 floods. And what we're planning on doing is installing a new single-span 3-sided box culvert bridge with added width for bike lanes, sidewalks, and railings, so to bring it up to more current standards and make it truly multimodal through it and make the connection multimodal to the roundabout and like the rest of the corridor. And as part of this, we are replacing the 10-inch water main on the north side and, if necessary, the 24-inch main on the south side of the bridge, both which were expected to be within the foundations of the bridge. They're currently unearthing the 24-inch right now, and we may have found it further south than initially expected.
Great.
So we'll see,
Fantastic.
which would be a very nice thing. So right now, the contractor is working on replacing the existing 10-inch, and it should be tied in here sometime in the near future, and exposing the 24-inch. And we got an updated schedule from the contractor today and are working through some remaining issues on this project. The
It's a
original,
project that won't end.
the original hope was that this project would be finished by the end of October, and we'll be negotiating to see where we're at currently with everything else.
That's a hard one to get going, I think, to get it done by the end of October, it seems
Yeah.
to me.
We're a little slow getting out.
Yes.
And out of the gate, here we go.
So here's a picture of more recently what it looked like of where they were replacing the 10-inch. The existing 3 culverts are still there and the asphalt, it's just everything's covered with all the material that's been excavated out. And that's them uncovering on the other side. There really honestly isn't much else to show on the project right now. But this is a kind of an idea of what it's going to look like. So
Yeah.
schematic of the roundabout and coming off into the sidewalks, the bike lanes, and the 2 through lanes for the vehicles. So definitely a lot better connection for
Sure.
everybody
Yep.
coming across here. The Paul Mann Building restoration.
Back to that one. That's
Sure.
really gonna be a hard one for people to, we open a Mountain View and it's still kind of not accessible, and so, we don't even have a guesstimate in terms of, I know it may not be the end of October, but,
Their current schedule has them trying to finish things up this winter, but unfortunately not having a paved service yet. We're negotiating with them to at least put down some form of hard surface that can be removed in the spring,
right,
so we can at least open it up and maintain it, and then come back and actually put down the permanent asphalt next spring. But we just received it a couple hours ago and need to kind of go through that and
Yeah.
negotiate with them on various things.
okay,
But that's the intent, yes.
be great.
The Paul Mann Building, its budget was $172,000, and its project intent was to weatherproof and insulate the exterior walls, install metal wall panelings and Suffolk planks, install new thermoplastic polyfin TPO roof, which is the same type of roof we've been installing all our other facilities too. And the project status, it is substantially complete, just working on some punch list items. The front entrance, soffit lighting, I believe some additional lighting around the edges. We'll be working with a separate electrician to try and get that all taken care of. But just remembering the beauty of the
Oh,
previous
yeah.
building,
It's
Yeah.
always good to keep that picture.
yes,
All the cracks.
in comparison to what we have now. And you can definitely see the quality difference and the quality in which they install everything. I mean, just even in the details that they have in the various areas and all this stuff. Makes a pretty nice difference on that building.
Yeah.
It does. Actually, it was hard for me to imagine what it was really gonna look like, and it's really fun to see it now.
Yeah. Then we had the 2022 asphalt rubber chip seal project. This was a fast-going project. This one had a $360,000 budget. We were applying roughly 32,000 square yards of asphalt rubber chip seal in various locations throughout the city. And this is one of those projects every year we kind of bounce back and forth between doing slurry seal some years, AR chip some, just depending upon what type of roads we're getting to. And this one happened within just a span of a couple days. And it was completed back in July. So just some of the pictures of spraying the liquid asphalt rubber, which then is followed behind by a chip truck. But with the AR chip, the liquid asphalt rubber that's sprayed actually has the rubber compound added to it in comparison to like more of your chip seal you see like in the county projects and stuff. It's a lot stickier type product, meant to last longer. And then the rock chips are actually coated in an asphaltic product as well to help it actually stick better to the liquid as they're putting it down. Then they roll it in place and end up afterwards spraying it with a liquid asphalt to help coat it as well. It's the final coating. So kind of give you a before and after picture of what it looks like. See how badly alligator it is in some of these areas. And this type of product is meant to last about another 10 to 12 years, depending upon its location, longevity, what's going through there. But just another tool in the toolbox for roadway preservation.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When we put it down there and it's supposed to last 10 years, at that point, can you treat it again, or do you actually have to just rip it all up and start over again?
Depends on how things are looking. So these type of products work best when there's a strong base below the asphalt. So if we're not showing any type of base failure, things are starting to rut, things are starting to pump through, any of that type of stuff. Yeah, a product like this you can typically, or we have even gone over a product like this with more of a slurry seal at a later point to seal it up even better and tighten everything. But yeah, there is the possibility of just continuing like the slurry seal. We've gone through some neighborhoods and have put in a second coat on because the previous one had worn off after about that 7 to 10 years. But yeah, this is definitely more of like your oil change in a car where we're just trying to keep the good roads good
Yeah.
and keep things maintained. The Children Pedestrian Safety Grant, this is another one of the LTAC grants that we had received. The project budget on this one was $296,000. This one was making the improvements at DN Mountain View Road, which we were essentially taking the left turns out and then widening out the sidewalks throughout the area to decrease the crossing widths. We found that through that area at the four-way stop, it was just way above the capacity that was necessary for the traffic there, and really wanted to switch it more to more multimodal, really sharing it with everybody. And the improvements made at B Street in Cleveland was extending the pathway down from Euler Field through that pathway system and making a better connection there for parent drop-off and everything. And that project is complete. Just some pictures of them removing the existing sidewalks and curb and getting ready to widen things out. You know, kind of what it looks like as a finished product around some of these spots. Kind of while they're doing the work out there, pouring the curb on the left side and the sidewalk and pedestrian ramps on the right side. Just more finished product look. And this is that connection down to B Street. Kind of what it looks like out there. We're just waiting for the grass seed to grow.
I forgot that you were doing this part, and I was walking my dog. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
Not just the dead end portion of street anymore. Now it actually has a little more function to it. But yeah, any questions on anything or?
Wow. You've
That
been
was pretty
busy.
cool.
It was really fun to see them all. I mean, it was amazing, because each of them come kind of individually to us over the year, and all of a sudden it's like, and here's where we are. That was really
Yeah.
very,
It was satisfying.
it was really fun. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm the big completion, and that was like, you've done a great job.
And it's really fun to see the Mountain View stuff, because I know that I'm not the only one that's like, so how's it going over there, right? So I appreciate all the
It's always the
pictures.
tough part about full roadway construction
Yeah.
is the underground stuff. You just really, you can't see the progression that's happening there. And then once you get above ground and things start really happening, everybody gets excited.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you can see it a lot easier.
Oh, very cool, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the presentation.
Thanks, Scott.